I was born in Callao, Peru. When I was 7 years old, we moved in with my auntie in Brooklyn, New York. Another auntie, mi tía Teresa, brought us to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where I went to elementary school, middle school, high school. A counselor said, there's this program at Penn State, Hispanics for Academic Progress. So I applied, I got in, and since Penn State had recruited me when I was in high school, I chose Penn State. I'm the first in my family here in the US to go to college.
She maintained that humbleness, that eagerness to connect to community and to make sure that other people like herself got opportunities, the same opportunities and better opportunities than she did. She's that kind of person, and I think she's grown into an amazing professional leader in her field of public health and in social work, but also as a mentor.
Then when I got to BU, I was working with women who were recovering for substance use disorders, and I had a really good professor who knew about CHCI and the fellowship program. So she said, I think you should really apply. Fortunate for me, I got accepted that year. It was my entry into HHS, Health and Human Services. I was, the 1996 Edward Roybal Public Health Fellow. I had a wonderful opportunity to actually talk on the phone with Dr. Luis Padilla, who was the CHCI Public Health Fellow the year before me.
She reached out to me and introduced herself and said, hey, I'm with the incoming class and I want to talk to you about your experience.
He gave me his time. He gave me his lens of his experience. So it helped me feel not alone. It was being part of something. That made me feel really good. And actually that's when our year was ending, our fellowship was ending. I said, why don't we start a CHCI alumni group?
I admire her focus on the alumni. It's not just the volunteering on the boards and showing up for leadership, but the mentoring aspect. I think it's really a strong component of what she does.
CHCI opened the doors into HHS. I am currently in the Behavioral and Public Health branch within HRSA, the Health Resource Service Administration.
Her particular area around behavioral health and the integration of behavioral health and public health is really where she's spent most of her time there at HRSA.
I manage a grant portfolio called the Behavioral Health Workforce Education Training Grant, BHWET. We have 166 grantees with an annual budget of $66 million to train more social workers, masters in counseling, family and marriage therapists, clinical psychologists, school counselors. So I'm very honored to be working with some Hispanic serving institutions to help train our next behavioral health workforce.
I think she's always, and given her background, always lent a lens towards equity, the Latino community, and what can we do within our programming and even policy development to emphasize that.
We can have a voice. We have a very unique lens. Our voices can then help shape programs, shape new grant funding opportunities, help make decisions on who gets funded.
She has the ability, the keen ability to just stay focused from one administration to another, to another, to another, knowing that things will change. It's her life. It really is her life. It's kind of with hers like family, civil service, and then the wellness of her and her community and her family.
I know she's a strong, really strong emphasis on her family and her children and her husband, and really juggling all that. I've learned, just watching her over the years, different roles, how she balances that.
We have 3 healthy children. I want them to be proud of their mother. My husband is African American, so they are mixed kids. I want them to feel proud of their culture of both being African American and Latinos. My family, they wanted their children to have opportunities here. Thanks to their sacrifices, their challenges of all of us living in that tiny apartment in Brooklyn, I thank them for that. That gives me drives, it gives me, ganas, it gives me chispas, it gives me that energy that I need sometimes.
This is very, very important that she's getting this award. I jumped at the bit to be here to acknowledge the great work that she has done, but also the great person that she is, and we need people like her inside government.
I'm delighted that CHCI is recognizing her and others who, candidly sometimes aren't always in the limelight, but are working so hard, grooming and developing leaders in this space, which is desperately needed.
I'm very honored to be receiving the award this year. I stand on huge shoulders. I've had tremendous mentors. I had the wonderful privilege of working for David Satcher. He wrote a book a few years ago about leadership. And one of the quotes is that leadership is a team sport. No one does it alone. Everyone has a role. Everyone is a player. and we all have to contribute. Be the change you want to see in the world.